Oh, good evening, everybody. Episode 164, Guns in the 701. We got a great show lined up for you. Of course, I got something a little different. I've been having some guests on, and I have the brand new, well, new to us, NRA Field Rep for Wyoming and South Dakota, Mr. Nate Brown. He's going to be joining us tonight. If things go good, we'll do a happy ending chronicle. I got a couple other things I'm going to hit on, and I want to talk about the deer seasons. We had some success here on the old Slash H Ranch. So stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and get the intro going, and we will be right back with episode 164 of Guns in the 701 on the Guns in the 701 network.
North Dakota land where the skies are wide and the freedom stands, with a Bible in my hand and a prayer in my heart, living this life where the wild plays its part. Dust on my boots and my hat pulled low, got my trusty rifle and I'm ready to go. Hunting the game as the sun hits the sky in the heart of the 701. I feel so alive. Guns in the 701. That's how we roll, faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins in this wild, wild land where the spirit remains. We're living free, living bold, side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. In the fields, the cattle run free with a purpose so strong, it's our grand legacy. The rivers run deep as we cast out our lines, fish in the waters where the North Star shines. Got the warmth of the sun with the chill of the night, with every shot fired we're ready to fight for the freedom we cherish. The second is true, with family beside us we stand through and through. Guns in the 701. That's how we roll, faith in the good Lord, that's how we hold the line of the legacy that runs through our veins in this wild, wild land where the spirit remains. We're living free, living bold, side by side, with God on our plate and our hearts open wide. Spinning with sins that they wield, we stick to our values, our fate is revealed. With the word as our guide, we tread on the earth, a community built from the love, not the curse. Raising our voices, singing loud through the night, for God and our freedom, we'll continue the fight. Let the rifles ring out, let the spirits align, in North Dakota's embrace, our soul
right. Good evening. That is our new intro song. I went with a little longer one. We did a little AI work with music and video. By the way, that is me and my buddy Johnson when we went on our Montana duck hunt. It was a blast, literally. And I thought that'd be a great ending. So we've got a great show for you tonight. Amelia, good to see you. Haven't seen you for a while. Lynette, hey, JD says cutting up deer meat. And I'm telling you, he got a pretty nice one with his crossbow. We'll do that. Dan Brown, good evening over there in Western Edge in North Dakota. Eric Newman, good evening from the better of the Dakotas. You got to love that little back and forth. And I used to do that a lot when we were at NRA, and we put North and South Dakota against each other. It was a good time. Gene Cox, the mayor of Mobridge. Good to have you joining us. And hey, I saw your stuff, Gene. I just wondered if you were able to get yourself your tag punch. So let us know. Lynette, great to see you as well. All right. So we got Nate Brown. I'm going to bring him on right now. See if I can't click him in here. Nate, are you with us? Here he is. I think we got to unmute him though.
I got you covered.
There we go. All right. So this is Nate Brown. He is the field rep of Wyoming and South Dakota, right?
Yeah, they've done a little change in the layout since you were up here, Clay.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I had a great conversation with Nate here earlier this week, and we wanted to get him on here. We had Jason Wilson on last week, and basically my whole thing is, Nate, is I want to reintroduce everybody in the Dakotas back to the NRA, the Friends of NRA, which is also part of the NRA Foundation, because it really isn't, unfortunately, it's not doing what it used to do. And we used to generate a lot of money for shooting sports programs and ranges. I mean, you name it across the Dakotas. So I'll just let you have the floor here. How do you want to start?
Well, I think you're onto something, Clay. I mean, I'm a Wyoming native, have a lot of strong roots. You and I touched on the Dakotas yesterday quite extensively. I grew up really from 7th grade until I graduated from high school in Ellendale, North Dakota, right across the border, kind of like where you're living right on the border yourself. I was basically Aberdeen was my stomping grounds. I've got friends in Mobridge now and Selby. I know South Dakota very well. My sister's lived in Rapid City for over 20 years. She runs a really cool business called Black Hills Ultrasound, does ultrasound work and hearts and babies and all the stuff in between. So great successful business in Rapid City. I've spent a lot of time in the Dakotas, and I really think it's kind of fortuitous that the NRA made some changes after COVID, and they ended up putting South Dakota and Wyoming together. And I just tell everybody they're going to have to fight pretty hard to get them out of my hands, because I think there's no better states in our country as far as 2A friendly folks, and people that are aligned with my way of thinking, your way of thinking. It's high time that the Friends program gets back and gets bigger and better than it's ever been. And you were really the last solid field rep in the Dakotas that they've had. And, elections have consequences. COVID had consequences. There was all the struggles with, they did a bunch of furloughs, let some guys go.
Yeah.
Wyoming the same way. When I jumped on board on April 1st of this year with the NRA, there were actually only 4 charters in Wyoming and South Dakota combined. So only 4 committees existing across both of these states. And it's just, it's high time we get it back, because it's literally the best means to put money on the ground for shooting sports and for youth shooting that there is. So.
Oh, absolutely. And it's grassroots. I mean, that is grassroots right there. You want to be involved. It's the way to do it. So I got a quick question. Are you collecting charters, and are they able to get them on the websites yet? Or is that a little bit too early?
Yes, it's going well. I actually just signed up Rock Springs, Wyoming yesterday. Rock Springs, as near as I can tell, hadn't had a banquet since 2016, according to the NRA books. For the NRA specifically. So far, in South Dakota, which actually this is something that just happened today, Yankton is going to have a pre-event it'll actually, Clay, you understand this. A lot of other folks that are on here probably don't, but our fiscal year ends on the 31st of October. So all the money raised prior to, to that 31st of October, that money gets utilized in the following year. The grant board decides where it goes, all that sort of thing. So 25 was a tough one. I just started, and I was 4 months into 25 when I started. So 25 is going to be tough, but I've got those are the only two that are up right now. What we're doing, actually have Riverton, Laramie, we'll have Bags. Bags is signed up. We're waiting on some confirmation on dates, and you know how that works with the NRA. If you give them the date, they throw it up right away.
Yes,
I
I
have
do.
actually held off on that because a few of my committees, like Riverton today, they've got their date ironed up, but they don't know how much they want to charge for their ticket based on beef prices. So that's a whole other podcast, but they're a prime rib banquet that they do, and they want to kind of check and see what they think that's going to cost this year, and then dial in their pricing. But yes, the question that you asked, so far it's looking like around 11 or 12 on the books for 2026, confirmed on the books between South Dakota and Wyoming. And South Dakota, I've got Yankton, I've got folks in Sioux Falls that are very, very tickled. Actually, the Yankton event isn't up. That's what I'll be doing when I get off of here. I've got to get that date changed. They had it 2020, or they had it on 11/28 in Yankton, and we're going to change that to December 13th. So if you're in southeastern South Dakota, or if you'd just like to road trip down into that part of the country and go to an NRA banquet yet this winter, we are doing an NRA banquet, which it will be up by the end of this week online, but we'll be doing a banquet on the 13th of December in Yankton. So pretty cool. Yeah, it's been fast and furious. We had our first real event that I under my management at the South Dakota State Shooting Complex on November 7th. That was another kind of fast, getting that thing on the board and getting it up and running. The state changed the dates a few times on the opener and whatnot, and so it was a little bit of a rodeo getting that done. But we had a lot of fun. Had about 300 people show up. It was an open house at the new range there north of Rapid City, out in kind of the outskirts of Piedmont. But great new range. Hope you guys all have a chance to go give it a shot. Literally.
Oh, yeah. I'm definitely trying to get down there. I've heard a lot of good things, and like I was telling you, this was something I was even working on with groups of people. They just could never bring everybody together, and they even had land kind of for this thing, but it was over by Sturgis at that time, and then there was a whole thing about that. So it never develops. I mean, this has been 20 years in the making plus, and I'm just glad to see it finally. It's a reality now.
And it's an amazing place, and those kind of things are always contentious. You have the East River, West River thing, and Wyoming's the same way. There's been some struggles in Wyoming about where to have a state shooting complex. And all I can say as an NRA rep is it's really cool to have a facility of that magnitude in the Black Hills. Obviously, the Black Hills region is a very tourist-friendly region. A lot of folks want to travel to that part of the state. And so I just encourage everyone to give it a shot, give it the best look you can, and make the trip out there, go enjoy the Black Hills. There's a lot of reasons to come to that part of the country anyway, but that range is definitely, it should be in the running to be one of the reasons to travel there, because it's pretty impressive. They've done a really good job.
Yeah. And I was, I hopped on, there was a Facebook place where I don't go on there a whole lot anymore, but I did find it was something pertaining to that range, and I think it was a Code of Territory thing where they were covering it, talking about, hey, what a great thing. And I mean, the comments on there were really people. They, what about the private ranges? Oh, I could shoot for free out in the Black Hills. And yes, I get it. I have my own range right here, mainly because I don't have a nice one well, mine's pretty nice now, but I've been building it for a while. But
well, I want to touch on that too. One of the things that I've noticed from, and you probably can think of the name of it. I'm not as familiar with that Black Hills region as many of you guys are that live in South Dakota, but there's a spot in the hills close to Rapid City, kind of in that area. What can you think of what they call that, Clay?
I can't think of the name of it off the top.
Anyway,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Actually been out there.
But there's a lot of, one thing about the shooting sports and having a range of that magnitude and having it free to the public is it is a really good thing from a PR standpoint, just across the whole region. People don't need to be drinking and shooting, and partying and shooting guns and all the things. And there's just, that whole area out there is just turned into a kind of a dump. People go out there and they plink a little bit, but it gives 2A friendly folks kind of a bad rap, I think, because most of us are more responsible than that. But at least it is a good facility. There'll be some oversight as to the safety and things that are done right there. So,
I mean, it's $20 million range. I mean, that's what it is. It's on 400 acres. I know that. But I can't remember the name of the place outside of town. And you're right. You'd go out there and you could tell there were people that would go out there and clean it up once in a while. But for the most part, I don't know how you put this delicately. I guess you don't. There was dumbasses out there along with good people, which did not make for a great shooting environment. It really didn't.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of safety concerns when things are that way. And to answer one of your viewers' questions, yes, there are metallic silhouettes. There's AR 500 targets. There's a lot of different things, and there's, it's a state-run facility, so we can all make several jokes about state employees, but there's definitely a lot of little things to tidy up and get put together. But it's going to be a spectacular place. It's already is. I've had the opportunity to shoot there a little bit, and they have ADA. They also have some ADA friendly places, so there's disabled folks can shoot from wheelchair, the retractable targets and things like that, which it's really cool that they're just trying to reach a broad group of folks.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, so how did they? Do you know if the NRA put any money in from their range grant program, or was most of this raised locally? I mean, I'm guessing Pete Lean, is that how it is? Yeah, and Sons, I'm guessing, put some money into it, being it's named after them.
Yeah, there's there's some. Again, I mean, we can make some statements about state stuff. It was one of those things. Obviously, Governor at the time, Kristi Noem, she was able to appropriate a large chunk right away, 13 or 14 million dollars, I believe, and then they had the ground to make up beyond that. And so they had 9, 10, 12 million, whatever, to get made up locally. And
right.
So there have been quite a few organizations, the NRA being one of them, that have gotten in, at that $50 to $100, $150,000 range. Some of them are, conservation organizations like the Elk Foundation, Mule Deer Foundation, Wild Turkeys. There's a bunch of those type that have come in at that level. And then obviously some folks like Pete Lean, Jim Skull.
I knew Jim had done. I'm not going to say what it was, but I knew Jim did some.
And his organization, the Youth Hunting Adventures, between Jim and the organization that he started there in the Black Hills.
Yep, South Dakota Outdoor Adventures.
Yep. Yeah, they've contributed a sizable chunk of money to the range. But I mean, it's a big thing. A lot of people don't understand also what the long-term upkeep and just the operation of a range of that magnitude is, but I think they did a good job picking the spot for it. I know there was some contention, contentious issues there as well with some of the local ranching community, noise issues and things like that. But, they've gotten through those hurdles. They've gotten over them. It's close enough to town that it's accessible. I think when you think of a complex of that size, you have people flying in, driving in from all over the world, and hopefully lots of big RVs and shooters coming from across the country there. You have to have access. You have to have it in a spot where it's easy to get to. The road's mostly paved out there. I can guess that over time, I'm sure the whole thing will get paved eventually.
Right.
Probably not right away, but yeah, it's a great spot. It's accessible. It's close to town. Lots of hotels within driving distance and all that stuff. So
I would imagine. I was just kind of going through some of everything that's on the grounds. I mean, it's remarkable. There's a ton of stuff there. There's a free area. There is a fee. There's a free and a fee area, and there's nothing wrong with that. I always hear that. I heard that when I was a rep too. Everyone expected everything to be free. Well, then pony up donating, because nothing's free and it costs money to maintain. Yeah, and it's just that simple. But I think they did a good job. It looks like I was kind of going through their range rules. Eye and ear protection required all times on or near a shooting bay. Well, that should be common sense, you'd think. I wear safety glasses just around my ranch here on every single day, because guess what? I don't like going blind. So you just never know what's going to happen.
I've had a Dick Cheney moment when I was hunting pheasants one time. So I'm pretty religious about wearing safety glasses myself. We've got four pieces of 4-shot in me at one point in time. So
yeah.
I'll make a believer in you in safety glasses for sure.
So I was just looking at operations and amenities. No appointment needed. There's staff on duty. Steel targets, Gene, just for you, available at the long range bay, 300-yard bay, and the 22 and / air gun bay. So, and then they do not rent firearms at this time. It's not available, but they may be used during the game, fish, and parks classes or special events. I'm just kind of looking. They don't sell, so they're not selling ammo. They're not doing firearms rentals, and that's fine. Who knows? Maybe that'll come. I don't know.
I think there's a little bit of discussion going on about how to do that. Really, to be fair, as a state-run entity, you really have to put, anything like a pro shop or something out for a bid opportunity, and there's a process, So I think they'll get there. I think it's worth taking a look at that for sure, because as well as I know, people get out there and they get to shooting, and it's 9mm ammo, 5.56. There's a lot of merit to having some available ammo there. I think there's also a little bit of merit to having rental gun opportunities and things like that. But I think one of the things they're looking at right now, at least, is there are several organizations that are up and running, NRA instructors and all kinds of other different groups, Girl and a Gun, folks like that the organizations themselves have rental guns or loaner guns available, but at least it's kind of in a controlled manner. And then you're not putting the state in a situation where they have to manage those guns and take the liability of them and all that stuff. So,
and there's a lot to that. For one, possessing an FFL, but I would say that you're on the right track there, and so would they be if they, there's a lot of state-run things, marinas, things like that within the state, other state-owned lands. So why not have your own pro shop that's privately run, and then who knows, provide some more jobs and be an income. Yeah, I like the idea. I was kind of looking at the membership fees; they're not bad. So you got the free to the public includes a 50, 100, and 300-yard bay and an archery range. It's open during business hours on a first come, first serve, and an indoor area available by reservation only. Membership required areas are long range bay, shotgun area, sporting clays, and north range. Individuals $100, family $150, a day pass is $20. I don't know about you, but to me, $150 for my family to go shoot there all year, I mean, to me, that's pretty darn cheap, especially for what they've got there, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right too. And I mean, there is the free portion of it as well, and I think you really do. And I, as the NRA rep, I mean, you were the me at one point in time. I want there to be a free option for folks. I think there's a lot of marginalized people in both Wyoming and South Dakota. And one of the things that I'm sensitive to, not necessarily from a personal standpoint, but just from some of my past involvement and stuff, is, there's just a lot of single parent households out there. And so I think it's nice for there to be a free option. I think mentorship is something that a lot of organizations can really help with, as far as getting kids and boys and girls both outdoors, providing shooting opportunities. Shooting sports is something that I think, as a general rule, folks in North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, all of this kind of gaggle of states, we take it very, very much for granted.
Yes, we do.
I had a guy ask me today, have you ever shot 5-stand? I've never shot 5.
Oh, I love 5-stand. The first
and
time I got introduced to it, and really we have until, I don't know, they got one down there now, but up until then, there really isn't much of that around here.
Well, and that's exactly where I was going with that, Clay, is that, you look at the opportunities that this range, on a range of this magnitude, will open up to people, even like myself. And not to take away with my raising, I wouldn't trade it for the world. But, I grew up, shooting live birds and blowing holes in the sky and, hoping I could scrounge up enough lawnmower money to make some more money and buy some more shells. And, my dad, he was pretty good about helping out and paying for all that stuff as much as he could. But, the reality of it is if you have, the Black Hills or the, sagebrush flats like we have in Wyoming, wide open BLM and public land all around you, you really take for granted the opportunities that a range like this provides. You don't realize that, you never were exposed to, like long range shooting. We did some long range shooting, but that's really something that's taken off. I had some great help from the School of Mines kids. Just by happenstance, I ended up kind of running into them, and I'm one of those guys I'm a pretty good bird dog, and I found some kids that were able-bodied and liked guns, and I said, hey, would you guys help me put on a banquet and help me set up and stuff? But the School of Mines, the engineering school, they want to put together a friends committee, and do their own fundraising, and they'd like to actually provide a training, like a Sonora Institute North, so to speak.
Really?
At School of Mines, they've kind of got a lofty idea of. But I think it's totally doable. The Black Hills is there's a lot of draw, and it's a great place. It's pretty, the temperature and the weather's pretty nice. And what a great place for there to be a gunsmithing school and, learn how to build custom rifles and things like that.
I was just thinking that. I mean, the closest gunsmithing school is down in Colorado.
Yeah.
That I know
exactly.
of. I've been rolled through there.
Colorado's getting where it's pretty hard to even have a gun.
No, isn't that something? Yeah, Colorado used to be a good state, and now it's been like so many of these has been taken over by the big urban areas. I mean, it's just and people moving in, and like we always say, don't California, North Dakota, or don't California, South Dakota. Well, it's happening. We saw it happen in Montana. I mean, that Kalispell area. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah,
Jackson Hole in Wyoming.
Well, and Cheyenne, we're right across the border. Cheyenne's getting fairly liberal, and the reality of the NRA and the Friends program, and why I ended up jumping on board is I really feel like it's one of the most rewarding things and one of the most needed things right now. Complacency and apathy is a huge problem in South Dakota, Wyoming, all of these areas out here. We all grew up with guns in our pickups and. Having
I might have a few.
Yeah, and all that stuff, yeah.
And that's only the ones I got there.
You take for granted that you have the ability to be free and to do the things that we do and go out your backyard and shoot. And everybody thinks, well, we're in a right wing, presidency right now, and we've got Trump in here. What's there to worry about? But I'll tell you what, 2026 is right around the corner, and elections have consequences. And
yes, they do.
People have to change people where they live. You have to catch kids when they're young, show them the ability of, being able to handle guns safely, go out and provide food for your family, all of those things. They're the kind of thing that we've got to get that constituency that's moving into these states on board with our way of thinking. So.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, we'll go a couple of comments. Doug Wolfie says $150 don't buy much steel, especially AR-500. I mean, I've got a few out here, and that's not a lot of money for steel. Gene says it costs more in gas to get there, so 150 isn't much. Exactly. And I don't know. I mean, I go down to the hills at least 4 to 5 times a year. To me, when I get down there, I'll probably buy a membership, A, just to support it, and B, if I want to go shooting, guess what? It's there for me. And I would imagine even in the wintertime, I didn't really look at their schedule. I know they had something in there, but if it's nice, you know what, I could envision them doing something once they get on their feet. I mean, what about a Christmas, not on Christmas, but a Christmas shootout or something? Maybe a special Friends of NRA event right there in December. I don't know. I could just envision something pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot. Have a game day at the range, and end up with a little, food and beverage and give away some guns. There's all those things are on the table, man. I'm all for it. And
they make glow in the dark clay pigeons. So
yeah.
Oh my goodness. What
are those new little handheld launchers called?
Oh yeah, I've seen those. I can't tell you the name of them, but
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but boy, they're cool too. And then, just like the 5-stand thing, that's a world-class shooting facility. It really is. And I think when you think of shooting sports, that's another thing I wanted to touch on is, I really never thought of shooting as a sport.
Let's take a quick break. Thanks some sponsors here. We are powered by Lauer Auto Repair, so you don't want to waste any time. If you're in Bismarck, you want to get up there, 309 South Washington Street, talk to the boys there, find Doug, and he will fix everything because he is the smartest mechanic I know. All right. Anyway, we will be right back with Nate Brown, and we'll do it. Let's dive into the shooting sports aspect and a lot of other things right here on Guns in the 701.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
And we are back. We got Nate Brown here with the NRA Field Rep for Wyoming and South Dakota. I don't think he's a senior field rep yet, but nope. It's coming. It's coming. Trust me. Corey says we got to go check that out over Stock Show. I love it. We're gonna. I mean, how could we not? I'm gonna be down there for about 4 days, so I got to get over there and take a look at it for sure. And
I'm thinking about trying to squeeze in a booth somewhere during the Stock Show if I can pull it off. But
good luck. They're kind of expensive. Oh, yeah. we looked at them years ago, even when I was a rep, and said, so what we ended up doing instead was that South Dakota Youth Outdoor Adventures organization. Yeah. I think it was the following weekend did something during the sports show. I know that during the Stock Show, I was down there like 3 weekends in a row for different things that were going on at that time. But I think that's where we went and put it because it was held over there at the Holiday Inn. It's attached to the Civic Center. So
what I was kind of wondering about is I wonder if you could find a Pro 2A business like Lauer or somebody that already has a booth and just pony off of their booth a little bit and maybe run a Wall of Guns game and just generate a little interest. Maybe that might work. But I used to have a pretty good ally named Blake, Blake's Trailer Sales.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if Blake was still the owner, I may hit up the new owner and see if they'll let me
Sure,
squeeze a
brother.
little something in there, just a table or
Well,
something.
let me do some asking. I might know a few people, so
Yeah,
I can do some asking around too.
stock show's a lot of fun.
Wall of Guns, that was a lot of fun. But you know what? We're going to go to the sports, the youth shooting sports, I guess, or even shooting sports in general. Yeah, when I was in school, it was never considered a sport. And I don't know about you. I seen it starting when I was kind of towards the end there before I retired. I even went out to Minnesota and seen their their trap club, their high school trap club organization is phenomenal out there. I mean, of all states, Minnesota, because they're not exactly gun friendly, but the state itself has a lot of conservative, pro Second Amendment, constitutional areas, just not the main three urban areas out there. And they have one of the most successful, largest high school trap shooting programs in the United States. So when we came back, we went to North Dakota, we got it on its feet. And I believe South Dakota has one now too. So it's nice to see that is actually happening in the high schools and being recognized, because that didn't exist. I suppose it didn't for you either.
No, it really didn't. And that's kind of going back to that previous discussion. I think you just take it for granted because of the facilities not being available directly to you. You know, if you don't have a really good up-to-date, trap and skeet club in your backyard, grow up hunting pheasants, and a lot of it's just, it's flat out just not having those things available. But one of the coolest things about shooting sports is it doesn't really matter if you're an athlete or a basketball player, not to take away from sports. I was in all those sports, but there's an opportunity for kids and for folks that aren't necessarily into athletics to still excel and do well. And some of the best shooters out there, it's a crazy cool discipline, and there's so many different options too. You've got, shotguns, long range stuff, pistol stuff, all kinds of cool stuff. So
Yeah, it definitely is. And we're lucky, like in Lemmon, that would be the closest town to me, and that's where I grew up. Is when I first became the rep, I was doing other things with the NRA. I started out as a volunteer, Nate. I mean, we were doing our own banquet for like, I don't know how many years before I became the rep. We actually, when I become the chair of the state fund in South Dakota, we really pushed grants hard for ranges. And so Lemmon has a very, very nice trap and sport shooting range right there. It's a dual thing there. And we're very lucky to have that. I mean, we got our cement lanes. We got a nice little clubhouse there. And it's actually a phenomenal range. And I know that they do have a high school trap team now. So we're lucky. I'm glad we were able to put that together when I was still there. And I don't even know who runs it now, because I haven't had enough time to go in there and shoot. And I got my own thrower, so I don't really travel there to go anymore. But so, hey, Gene asked, what is 5-stand essentially? Well, 5-stand, I guess you got 5 shooting stations, right? And they got 6 or 18 strategically placed clay target throwers out there. And at each station, a shooter faces sequences of 5 targets. It could be a single bird. It could be pairs. It could be both. It could be with report, not report. And I don't know, they usually got kind of a big deal here. And you've got to stay within that shooting area. And I don't know. I don't know other than it's supposed to simulate bird shooting. I guess that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's a good way to describe it. I've just started to learn about it myself, and it's kind of geared towards a combination of trap and skeet. You've got your really fast shots and your pass shooting and all the different types of presentations, I guess.
Well, if you've ever been on an actual sporting clays range, that one is same type of scenarios, except you walk, it's best if you got a nice wooded area, but all kinds of simulations in hunting. You might have, something like teal coming out underneath you, the stupid bouncing rabbit. I'm not good at hitting that darn rabbit. It's a clay that comes rolling out at you and goes this way. It might come underneath you. It just depends on how they have it set up. But it's a lot of fun. It's way more challenging to me, and it gives you more of a scenario out in the field. So I really suggest, if you've never done it, go give it a whirl. And it sounds like now you got a great place to go try it, because there never was any real good ones out here. It wasn't until I went down south, when we did like Missouri, when we did our summer meetings, or we went out east and was around that DC, Virginia area, tons of those kinds of things, even in Pennsylvania when we were out there. So one thing you learn, you probably get exposed to a ton of great shooting opportunities going to your summer meetings. At least we always did.
Yeah.
And you got to tell them, if they haven't done it, do a class 3 shoot again. That was one of my favorites in Colorado.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited about getting to go to Fairfax. I've never been to Fairfax to the headquarters, and so that'll be a cool event. I'm going from the 1st to the 5th of December.
Yep. Winter meetings, and I can tell you it's jam packed. They make use of your time out there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
A lot of great information. Some of it's redundant, but some of it is great. If you get time, go hit the range. It's an underground range right there at headquarters, and it's a lot of fun. I'm telling you, there's nothing like it. And I mean, to think of that range is in the middle of that urban setting, but it's pretty cool. I think it's one of the best ranges I've been on indoors. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're strict. Don't just think it's a state-run facility. It's strict. Trust me. NRA's is strict, and it should be. Can you imagine if there's an accident at the NRA gun range? That'd make headlines.
That would be a nightmare for the press release for sure.
No, I can just deadly shooting at the NRA range, and I can just hear the. It'd be horrible. It'd be horrible.
We're hitting on something else too that I think is really cool about a range and a facility of that magnitude in South Dakota. One of the things that's really become evident to me is the level of proficiency and becoming proficient with handguns, and especially handguns, but even with rifles, shotguns, whatever. We kind of have a tendency when we grow up where we do in this part of the world. You kind of wake up with a gun in your hand and go to sleep with a gun in your hand, so you kind of take it for granted that you're proficient. But when you get around folks that do it professionally, it's very humbling, and it's very evident that it's time well spent. Just like a track, runner, you'll never run as fast as you will if you're running against someone who's faster than you. So if you want to get good, go into a range like that, and or even to a local range where there's good shooters, it just makes you a lot better, more proficient user of firearms.
Absolutely, yeah. It's like you said. Wait till you get around the guys that are competitors in that, depending on what their discipline is. I'm telling you, if you think you're a good shooter, you'll be humbled very quickly, no doubt about it. I have to mention this to everybody because I'm going out to the state convention out in Fargo, and these are still available. A&A Engraving did all that fine work for us again. Get a hold of me. As you know, with the rules on all the commie platforms, we can't say what I'm talking about. So go ahead and get a hold of me. It's pretty easy to get a hold of one of these. And we're about sold out. So get a hold of me, Trampus, or any other guys, and we'll get you set up. So I had to throw that in there, Nate. I'm still doing those kinds of Freedom Rod raffles. That's how we call them.
Yeah.
They did a fantastic job with these. Look at that.
Yeah, bang stick raffle.
Yeah, and we had A&A Engraving. You and I had talked about that, and I'm gonna get you introduced to them guys because they're
absolutely. I'm excited about that.
They've done so much great work for me since the NRA even. I've stuck with them, and we've done a ton of great things with them. I just can't say enough because they have made some fantastic ones for me. They just have. I'll show you one they did here in a 1911. So as it loads. But anyway, you need to. I was telling you about the grips on there. So look at that one, right?
Man.
We made one that actually has NRA grips and kind of the same styling. So I think we can do something for you.
That's really first class. What does NDFB stand for?
North Dakota Farm Bureau.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. That was the one we did, the blued one. The year before we did a stainless steel, and the year before that we did a complete gold one.
Nice.
So that one was really cool. Luckily, one of my friends won it, so he was in a different county with a different group, but a farm bureau, and he won it. And I was like, "That's pretty cool, because at least now I can see it still." Here, check it out. That's those grips I'm telling you about, and only ours said NRA when I was with the NRA. But yeah, we did that one. That was completely plated 24 karat gold.
Wow.
So, yeah, I do. I always was into the high end stuff. Make it unique. I mean, there's a million raffles out there, right?
Yeah.
And how do you stand out? Well, you get something like that with a limited draw of 250, 300, chances. I'm trying to avoid the code words that they nick you on, but
Yeah.
and that's a real thing. But anyway, so shooting sports, yeah, it's a very new concept to a lot of people. I think it's kind of like when we changed, AR-15 got a bad rap because, it's an assault rifle, never did stand for that. It was Armalite rifle. I mean, that's always been what it was. But I liked it when they changed it as a modern sporting rifle.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. It's not just something you go out and kill people with like they were portraying. I mean, my buddy Jamie, who helped start this with us, I mean, he uses an AR hunting all the time. I mean, it's kind of his go-to gun.
Yeah.
And they've gotten so much better. I mean, the developments that have taken place in that world. And I don't know, ARs are tinker toys for men. I mean, you can build and have fun with them.
It's an addiction that you have to really be careful. I got into that when I was working as an operations foreman in North Dakota, and I had too much money to play with. And you start building a new AR every weekend. You end up, I better do this, I better do that. I got to build one like this and then next thing you know, you've got 10 of them. It's like, holy crap.
Well, it's so easy. I mean, I never built my first one till a year ago. Jamie kind of told me what to do, and I got the parts and I put together a 6.5 Grendel for myself.
That's what's so cool about that platform is there's just so many different things you can do with it, And you get guys like you went to Precision out of Utah. Those guys have been really good supporters of some of the stuff I've done in the past, and they make a upper that actually will come all ready to go, but it's actually a bolt gun, bolts right onto your AR lower, And those, I tell you what, those things they're shooting. A long ways with those ARs, those bolt action ARs. They're 6mm arcs and all that stuff. But yeah, there's so many different ways you can go with an AR. It's pretty fun.
Oh, absolutely. There's JD right there. He said, haven't logged into my X account for a while. Good evening, boys. That's the other guy that helped start this up with us. And he's been doing a show called 701 Nation now. But I like what Eric Newman says. Longtime friend of mine too. Gun sport's the only sport that offers something after graduation. All others are just for show during school. There's a lot of truth to that. Yeah, that's what I always tell everybody. You teach someone to shoot, they can do that their entire life. They really can. And you can get better at it. You don't really, there is a certain amount of natural ability to be able to handle, shoot, and understand the concepts. But in reality, you can teach yourself to shoot and become better every time.
Yeah, there's so many available online resources nowadays. You've got YouTube and X videos and Instagram. There are just so many different training tools that are just free and available right at your fingertips nowadays.
Right. So. And Doug here, this is one of the owners of LAUER Auto. We thank him. And here's Doug. He says, you keep upgrading parts, and then you have extra parts, and then you have to build something new with the old parts. It's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Doug's spot on. I about have enough spare parts laying around that all I need right now is just a couple of things. I've got another AR.
I could build another one right now. I don't have a lower. I don't have a receiver. I got to give him a receiver. But other than that, I got enough parts to build another full firearm. And this one would actually be in a 5.56 223. But I need another one. But hey, I can always use another one. Come on. So tell you what, we're coming up on the top of the hour. We're a little early, but I'm going to take the big break. So this one will be about 4 minutes or so. So if you got to stop and get something to, refill or use the bathroom, whatever you need to do, everybody, we'll be right back. Come back with Nate. And I don't know, we can talk whatever we want, but I do want to touch on how well hunting went this weekend around here. And I don't know about you out there, but it was a success. So we will come back and continue our discussion with Nate Brown, NRA Field Rep for Wyoming and South Dakota. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
LAUER Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
For the best gun gear for every and any situation, Little Angry Man Arms LLC has you covered. Top-notch guns from top-name brands like Winchester, Glock, Sig Sauer, and Ruger to essential extras from Magpul, Streamlight, Hollow, Sun Optics, and more. Little Angry Man Arms LLC have everything to make your shooting adventures a success. Visit littleangrymanarms.com today and gear up for your next big hunt, competition, or home defense. Don't miss out on our exclusive deals. Little Angry Man Arms LLC, based in Trail City, South Dakota, your ultimate hunting partner.
At Horton LaserCraft, we believe in the power of personalization. Whether it's a cherished memory, a special occasion, or a unique gift, our custom laser engraving brings your vision to life. Our expert craftsmen and state-of-the-art technology ensure every piece is a work of art. From personalized decor to one-of-a-kind keepsakes, Horton LaserCraft makes every moment unforgettable. Horton LaserCraft is owned and operated by a local veteran and his wife located near Thunderhawk, South Dakota. They provide custom laser products at a reasonable price, and their turnaround time is fast and efficient.
Custom board cutting, glassware, decanter sets, mugs, assorted stainless steel jewelry, assorted tags, decor, custom acrylic nightlights, and much, much more.
Call them up at 605-545-7535. Horton LaserCraft, where memories are engraved.
All right, we are back again thanks to Lauer Auto Repair. They have been with us since the very beginning. They're a founding sponsor, and we want to thank Doug and the boys down there, because without great sponsors like Lauer Auto Repair and Kalon's Auto Service, Horton LaserCraft, /H Ranch, Little Angry Man Arms, this isn't possible. So they're the what makes it all go. You can try to monetize these commie platforms, but trust me, that's harder than you think it is, because they don't like us. We've been eligible for a while, but they always come up with something. We actually had two backups, or one backup for sure, on YouTube, just in case. You just never know. And Facebook tried to deplatform us a couple different times. So far, we've been able to stay in there. I also have to mention, Jamie's going to be on next Wednesday, 701 Nation. He just sent this to me. He's got Ariel Dietrich. She's from Williston. She's a former law enforcement officer, now owner of Shadow ID Female Firearms Training. Just talking about ladies shooting. Right there it is. New Ruger Gen 2 patrol rifles. The top selling suppressors of 2025. That ought to be an interesting one. I wonder if it's a silencer, Cole. We'll see. And then the new Howa HS Precision Lightweight Hunting Rifle. And, of course, Happy Ending Chronicle. So tune in next week right here, same place, same time for 701 Nation, hosted by J.D. Breck. And being we're talking about it, we'll come back here, Nate, but I'm going to put this up here because he had some success too. got himself a really nice mule deer with a crossbow because he's got a shoulder problem, so he can still use his crossbow in the archery season. So congrats, buddy. That's a nice mule deer.
In Wyoming, they just went ahead and gave up, and you can use a crossbow anytime. You don't even have to be disabled. So
awesome. So you can use it in the archery season now, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
So
I get a kick out of all the archery guys. A whole bunch of the guys that shoot compounds. They hate the crossbow guys, and they say, well, that shouldn't be allowed, and I just get a kick out of it because it's like, 50 years ago when the compounds first came out, then all the traditionalists they were against those. I just think, nowadays, if you're out in the field enjoying and harvesting animals and utilizing the meat and, doing what people have been doing for 13,000 or 14,000 years, as long as history has been known, I think all disciplines should be just welcomed. So,
well, I can tell you what a lot of it is, at least in North Dakota. They're afraid to lose their niche season with no competition. You pretty much can get one over the counter right now, or, it's not over, but you send in and get it. And that'll change if they do some changing in how things are used in that season. I don't know if it'll change much. Minnesota did it last year, and it didn't seem like it really affected that much. But you know what? It's hard to get a tag in this state anyway because it's been mismanaged so bad by the Game and Fish, and it just has. It truly has, and they do a good job on their fisheries, but not on the big game management. They've messed around with our gratis tags, and that's been a whole ordeal here as far as an antelope season. I know they want to try it in the deer season, but you know what? Unlike Wyoming, North Dakota is like 93+% privately owned. So there probably should be some kind of work done because the landowner-hunter relationship isn't great, and it's all perpetrated by the Game and Fish with what they do. It's not good. You and I have to sit and talk because it's pretty bad in North Dakota right now.
Well, there's a lot of challenges with the disease issues and different things going on, and I don't know. We're having a lot of the same CWD and EHD issues right here in Wyoming. I've got a late season whitetail tag that I've yet to fill, and I'm hoping to find a decent buck. But boy, I'll tell you what, it's tough. It's just tough. We have a lot of public land here, but there's a lot of, once it gets later in the season, especially, most of the game in Wyoming migrates somewhere, and so inevitably they land on private land. So,
yep, they absolutely do, and. Well, that's you and I could have a whole discussion on that. But I've hunted Wyoming quite a bit, not so much in later years here, but especially when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it was plentiful, right? We had a lot of fun, didn't have a lot of trouble filling whatever tags we had. And then the introduction of the wolves started to take their shape. And it did. And I don't care what they say. I grew up during that time and I was hunting out there and I saw the devastation to just about not just the deer or the antelope, moose, elk, everything.
Yep.
And it really had nothing to do with disease then. It was completely the introduction of the wolf. And then as they spread out, and at that time they couldn't even do nothing to them because that was the reestablishment thing that was going on. So luckily we don't have. Technically, I guess we don't have wolves here. People say they're seeing them out in the Badlands, but I hope not because that would be a bad thing out here.
Yeah,
it really would. Maybe they can toss them. Maybe we can do like they did in Wyoming, and then they'd end up down the reservoir, those collars. But
well, one thing we've done, and one of the best things about Wyoming that I'm most proud of with our wolf management is our predator status. Once they get out of that little buffer zone around Yellowstone Park, they're basically a coyote. So,
Montana's got a season.
Yeah, we have a season as well, but inside that buffer zone, there's a season. But once they leave that buffer zone, so basically 80% of Wyoming, it's open season on wolves. So
awesome! Maybe I need to come back out. It's been a few years hunting out there. I've been through there, but I haven't been out hunting there for a while. So. JD says, thanks, Clay, because it was a Barnett XP 405 X bow. That was his crossbow. Range, 125 grain mechanical broadhead. Ran about 70, 80 yards, and dropped dead. Probably goes around 165. Yeah, that was a nice deer.
Yes, he is.
Hey, Jamie, we should have had a great big one on the ground this week, but I let one of the guys actually do the shooting because it wasn't on my land. It was on the public land, and my gratis tag is only for my land. But he did miss. But I'm telling you, it's the biggest deer I've ever seen, and he'll go way beyond that. I mean, I got a good look at him, but I'm still looking for him. I know he's in the area. I kind of know where he's hiding out, but nobody has access to that 1/4. So I imagine he's going to hold tight there. But gratis tag, I understand, turns into a muzzleloader tag or any tag. So when you get a gratis tag in this state, you can hunt any season you want. It's like the one tag system that keeps getting talked about. Well, that's pretty much what the gratis system is. That's kind of appealing to me that I could take that now and go hunt that late season for that deer because I'm going to have a way better chance of finding him here in December, I bet. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'm not in a hurry to get him right now. So let's see. Oh, he's stuck him at around 30 to 35 yards. There we go. So all of the myths of crossbows, and you'll be shooting 100 yards. It don't look like it took 100 yards. It was 30 to 35 yards. I think a good compound bow, I think people can shoot that at that range, can't they?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people shooting 70 or 80 yards with a compound.
Yeah, I'm not an archery hunter. Got nothing against it. It's not my thing. I like to shoot rifles, and I have my sons have 2 tags too, and I would really love to see one of those doe tags filled or their tag in general with a pistol. I've always wanted to do that myself too. I've never got it done, but it'll happen. I'm only 51. I should have time, I hope.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll tell you what, as long as we're on this subject, let's do some bragging here. I'm going to put some pictures up that you sent me. Well, there you go. There's
cool.
an elk.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that one. I think I know the story here, but I think that's what you're telling me about.
That's my mother. Her name is Cheryl, and she drew an Area 100 Type 1 elk tag, which is a very coveted red desert elk tag. You can see that's not typical elk country. When people think of elk in Wyoming, they usually don't think of sagebrush, but the red desert's a pretty spectacular place. And we were able to connect with that bull last year and got a nice bull out there. And she made a great shot. She practiced shooting out to 400 yards, and we ended up killing him at about 40. So pretty amazing how things worked out. You wouldn't think there's a lot of cover, and there isn't. But, if you use the sun to your advantage and the wind to your advantage and hold your mouth just right, then you can find a bull like that. It was pretty cool.
If you don't know where the Red Desert is in Wyoming, look it up. It's, I think, about 9,000 square miles, something like that.
It's a lot. It's an inward basin, so none of the water leaves the Great Basin, and it's just a spectacular place. It's actually
Huge area.
very, very mountainous in spots, lots of different desert type areas, lots of steep, deep canyons and different things. It's
some rough country. It's some
Rock Springs and Lander, and then all the way over kind of towards Muddy Gap and Rollins. It's a huge area.
My buddy Travis that was on here earlier, he used to live in that Riverton area, and I think he's hunted that area too. And I encourage you to look it up and maybe even visit it if you want, because it's a neat area. So what about this one?
That's my dad. That's my dad with a pretty nice pronghorn that was just not far at all from Riverton, about 35 miles. He was actually on private land. I got to spot him, early in the season. Got an eye on him. That's not the best picture. He's got some kind of an interesting little fork on his one prong there, or on his, on the spade that comes out of his horn there. But yeah, just a really nice shooter buck. And my dad had the opportunity to get him, and I've kind of gotten, spent my 20s and 30s guiding elk hunters and deer hunters and moose hunters and sheep hunters all over the Bridger-Teton wilderness. And so I've kind of gotten to the point, where I really almost enjoy watching someone else harvest.
It gets that way, don't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's just the magic of hunting and, being able to provide opportunities for folks. It's really cool. It's, everything but pulling the trigger, basically. It's just still your experience. And
Doug here asked what caliber was used. I think he was asking about the elk, but I guess what about the antelope? Do you remember?
My mother's elk, that was a 270, and I think my dad I think he shot that with the same gun, didn't you, Dad? Oh, no, he shot his with a 270 as well, but it was
Awesome.
a BSA, different rifle.
I love my 270. It's my go-to gun. You can talk to any of these guys on here tonight. They know that I'm in love with my 270. So.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, I bought a Model 70. It was the first rifle I bought out of high school that I could finally buy brand new. You know, I saved up for it. It was the first year they brought back the pre-64 clock extraction.
Yeah.
So, and I love that gun, and it's dead. It's deadly. That and my Swift, them are my two go-to guns. I obviously have a lot of choices, but those are still my favorite two guns. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on to, let's see. Oh, JD says, awesome antelope. That is a nice antelope. It truly is.
Yeah, he had a lot of character. He really,
I mean, I love those kind that are different, right? I think they're fun. Oh, he says, yeah, Corey, what about your 220 Swift? That's right. Yeah, that was my very first rifle. That was my grandpa's. And so I shot my first deer with that because that's all I had. So shot placement was everything. And I think it made me a better shooter too. I use it on dog towns, and Jamie can attest to that ain't too many doggies get away from me, but I've been shooting that gun since I was 16 years old. And then, of course, I had both of my sons, they took their first deer with that same gun. So they took that first deer at their great-grandfather's rifle. And then I took my first hog down in Florida with that gun. So, yeah, I do like my 220 Swift, too.
Heck yeah.
But it's shot placement. All right. I'm going to move. Now, this is one of my favorite ones you sent me. That's just awesome. I love that. That's great.
Well, you know, I mean, you have to be do a selfie once in a while.
That's right.
I was out hiking around above Lander. That's a 10 millimeter Rock Island double stack.
Oh, I love the 10 millimeter.
Yeah, that's a Rock Island Tac Ultra, they call that, with a light on it and stuff. It's pretty cool.
Rock Island makes some pretty nice. They're very affordable guns, and they're good shooters.
They are, yeah. They're great guns. I've got two of those.
Well, when we were doing banquets, I would order them for the banquets. You know, a simple plain gun. I'd take those NRA grips from A&A Engraving and slap them on there, and instantly we had an awesome raffle gun.
Yeah, you can add value to it. That's the thing. You can make it unique, and you find someone like A&A. I'm excited to meet those folks.
Yeah, Mark doesn't do a lot down there, but his daughter, she's taken over, and they do great work down there. I can't say enough about them. 10 millimeter, the best millimeter. There you go.
Yeah, especially when it'll hold like 15 or 16 rounds. That's pretty impressive.
I love my 10. If I take a plastic gun, I call them, but if I take one of them, I always grab the 10 millimeter. I've got a 40. I mean, I like that. I've got every caliber, I think, out there, but I do like the 10 millimeter. I'm kind of partial to that. So, all right, now I got this one here. If I can bring that up. There. That ain't the same one. That's a different one.
No, that's a 2 years ago. That was that antelope. Yeah, that was
nice goat there.
Private land goat. Yeah. Same thing. I had a good friend that I know right down here, not far from the house, and we just, we couldn't pass him up. He was just a good shooter buck, and he was right out in a guy's center pivot, that I know real well, and so we had that opportunity, and it just provided itself. One of the areas that's my dad lucked out and drew that tag is right here in the Riverton Valley. So you're pretty much hunting public or private land right within the Midvale Irrigation District area. Okay. So right here in this local area. So that was a good opportunity, and nice shooter, average, just kind of an average run of the mill buck, but a decent one.
See, that's above average in North Dakota most of the time. They don't get big around here. I've had some on this place, but you know what I noticed out in Wyoming? Because we don't have a lot of irrigation here in my area per se. So when I'm out there and I see all these irrigated alfalfa fields, oh my goodness, the deer and the antelope that are literally on there are just amazing in that late fall. I mean, it's all green still, and then they just swarm it. Anyway, the private landowner. Yeah, it's private land, but it's irrigation land. It wouldn't matter if it was private or public. They'd be there because that's where the food is.
Yeah, it's just, that's a critical piece. You've talked about private land and touched on that, but that is a critical piece to wildlife and conservation and just management in general. I think you really have to look at the whole holistic picture of where game live in the wintertime. And, if it wasn't for the ranchers and the farmers and the ag people, there really wouldn't be the feed opportunities for the wildlife that we have and that we can sustain nowadays. So,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Which translates to more and more animals and opportunities. And my great grandmother, we're about third generation Wyomingites here. And my great grandmother used to have to hunt for jackrabbits when she was a little girl, in Lusk, Wyoming. And,
Lusk, I know where that's at.
Yeah, you talk just across the border, and you talk about, game and wildlife and plentiful game. At the turn of the century, there wasn't near the game available that there is now in a lot of places. People think, well, there's, we've got to really manage wildlife. Well, we're managing wildlife for opportunity now. And that was something, when you look at the turn of the century, everybody ate wild game. So,
right. That was their food source. That was their red meat. I mean, there wasn't the cattle. It was way different then. And I saw the pictures turn of the century. They hang all over at museums. Of course, there were no limits, and it showed. You'd see 20 deer hanging and maybe 6 guys around there.
Yeah.
And then they did. That's what they ate all winter, though. It wasn't like they were wasting it. That's just what they ate. So let's
the North
go.
American model and all that. It's important. I love the North American model of wildlife management and game management. It's a big thing. Theodore Roosevelt kind of saw the excuse me, writing on the wall.
Yeah,
you can't just shoot wantonly and without any kind of management at all or any control. You'd have to be careful, or we wouldn't have the game available that we do. And I think that's it's great that we have so many organizations working for wildlife and providing opportunity. And I love that the NRA has been here from basically the very beginning, 1871.
Celebrated their birthday here.
Yeah, I get a kick out of it. I mean, people talk about, well, if Kamala Harris gets elected, I'm gonna move out of the country, and I'm much like, where do you think you're gonna go? Because if you want to bring your guns with you, this is the last great place. It really is. I mean, there's no place like this on earth where you can literally have a gun and protect yourself and do all the things that we take for granted here. So,
absolutely. Yeah, no, they just, I'm not even gonna go down that road tonight, but we could. Well, we're gonna have you back on anyway. So. Let's see. 10 mil, a little corn pile out there. Clay will bring that deer in, and thanks to Dusty Backer, who I had on last week, and we got the baiting bill through in North Dakota, so it's not illegal anymore. So let's just say it's taken care of, Eric. It's taken care of. I'll just leave it at that. So, I'm gonna. Like I said, you sent me these, so we got to do a little bragging. I mean,
you putting your gut, Oh yeah, there you go.
Speaking of a cow elk.
That's the first and only cow elk that I've ever harvested. I spent all my 20s and 30s guiding elk hunters and living in the backcountry of Wyoming, and most of the areas that I hunted all that through that whole time in my life were all bulls only areas.
Okay.
And so I decided, I've got to go kill a cow, and we have a little issue going on in Lander, Wyoming. Lander is kind of, and you touched on the wolf thing. The wolves have basically created a scenario in Lander that's much like Estes Park, Colorado. So we've got a large volume of elk that are living in Lander all winter long. And so Game and Fish is, trying to harvest as many and push them out of town as they can. And the wolves just keep pushing them right back in. And so,
well, that's where they're safe.
We've got a scenario over there too, where it's, you have some liberal folks and, more left-leaning folks that love having elk in their backyard. And then you've got the rancher, and he doesn't want them eating his haystack. And, 300 elk will put a hurt in a haystack in a hurry. So
in a big hurry. And I've been through Lander. It's been a long time ago. We have been in that country too. Like I said, I've been all over, I think just about all over Wyoming, because either it was with the NRA and when I was doing work with Dave once in a while, or I had a lot of friends out there that go out and go hunting. And I know, I used to travel around Wyoming a little bit.
But I killed that cow with an MSR 10 long range 6.5 Creedmoor.
Really? Jamie, did you hear that?
AR-10.
The 6.5 Creedmoor.
And she's proof that photo's proof that you can actually kill an elk at 400 yards with a Creedmoor. So.
Oh my goodness! So you now all of you people have been making fun of the Creedmoor man bun wearing Creedmoor shooters. There you go.
I shaved my man bun, but you know.
I have a Creed. Well, I got a couple Creeds. I like to have a lot of calibers. Not that I shoot them all, but yeah, I've got a Creed as well. Jamie shoots a Creed, and
that thing shoots. I'll tell you what. That's an AR-10 platform that Savage came up with, and it's heavy. It's it's got a big old scope on it, and it's got a bipod and all the stuff. Probably weighs about 15 pounds, but that thing, I'll tell you what, you can shoot 400 plus and kill elk with it. So. I
really love it in coyotes. I've got it in a Ruger Precision with the Burris Eliminator on there. So, yeah. I mean, I got all the cheating stuff, as some people call it. But trust me, I was shooting long before I had the little button to show me where to shoot. It is nice. But I kind of want one of the new Burris's. They tell me that if you have a Bluetooth Kestrel, a wind meter, now you can feed that right in. It's Bluetooth connected. And, yeah. I don't know. I'd like to have that.
Technology is pretty phenomenal. There's no doubt. Yeah.
It definitely is. It definitely is. All right, back to the bragging board here. I think that's the end of yours. But now we got to put Jamie's back up there. We had a nice mule deer there. Had buddies out and their family and friends here, and they were doing a little pheasant hunting. They did okay. They had a lot of fun. Helped this young guy here. That's off my place.
That's a nice buck.
It is, and he's old. The picture don't show it, but that deer is old. He's gray. His coat wasn't great. No, he didn't have CWD. I mean, he had the big Roman nose. He's just an old deer, and you could see it. He's got a lot of mass there, but not much for points anymore. And I mean, you could tell. You should have seen his teeth.
Yeah,
he's just an old deer. Buddy of mine here, I met him at Valley City area. He came down one year asking, and he was able to punch his doe tag, and that was fun. That was done right, and we just went out there in the open prairie there, and he nailed a doe, and he was happy. I was happy, and his son, not the biggest buck, but he wanted to punch that tag because he had limited time, so we got it done for him. Kind of in that same area.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Now this one was taken about 2 miles from me down in South Dakota.
Oh,
and that's a neighbor of mine. And I tell you what, that is a beast. And he said he didn't even know that deer was in the area. He just happened to be going down a section line, and he parked and got out, and he no more than was starting to walk, and this thing came out of the corn on the section line about 75 yards, and he pulled up and dropped it. So good
that's
for
a nice
him.
Buck.
That's a fantastic. And look at the little gnarly brow tine there.
Yeah.
I was very happy to see he was able to fill his. I mean, a lot of fun. Here's some more. This is Travis's son. It's actually my godson right there, the one holding the pheasant, and that's his fiance, and then his little brother. So yeah, it was a lot of fun down there this weekend. We filled a lot of tags. Basically, we got most of the tags filled. There's still a couple guys got them. And I haven't filled mine yet, but I'm not in a big hurry. Like I said, now that I know that I can hunt during the muzzleloader season, I might just wait for that because I've got a muzzleloader. I've never shot nothing with it. I can't think of a better time than to go find the biggest buck I've ever saw and try it out.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, well, we're coming up here. It's about 20 after 8, so I'm going to take another quick break here. That's how we make the show work, right?
Yep.
We'll take another quick break here. We'll come back, and I don't know. There's a lot of avenues we can go down, but maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the changes we're seeing in the NRA. I mean, I think they've been positive. So
yeah, for sure.
All right, we'll be right back.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake.
Make no mistake.
Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just 1 block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
All right, we are back. I got to put this up. Had Eric's daughter sent this to me. It said her youngest sister, Sage, is tuned in to GAT701. So they're listening to the podcast. Got fans of every age here. We appreciate that, don't we? Yeah. So hi, Sage. Right. If you're still listening, hi, Sage. I know you're listening. So, all right. So we've seen some changes. I'm sure a lot of people, we had Jason on here a couple weeks ago. And I love the fact that we're seeing the new changes. I actually had the president's website up there when I had Jason on, because that's very public. You can get on there. If you're a member, you just put your membership number in there. And I don't think I've ever seen a more transparent NRA coming down from the top. I got to say that. And it makes me proud to see that. I don't know. I'm guessing you guys are feeling that around there too, the positive changes, right?
Yeah, we definitely are. And I've been involved since April 1st. And full disclosure, Clay, I came into this basically with the attitude that, the NRA is just like any other large organization. It's only as good as the people that are running it and the people that are holding those people accountable. So I think when you look at churches in small towns, that's a good analogy I like to use. Everybody's been to a church where there was a falling out or there were issues or somebody got a little too big for their britches or whatever. But at the end of the day, I like to go back to that 1871 date. If it wasn't for the NRA, all of those pictures and all of these people that we were witnessing and talking about, and, all the folks that are tuned into your podcast, very few of us would have the ability and the freedom to carry the firearms that we love and to use them to do the things that we love. And that's really where I was at with this opportunity is I just looked at it like, it's the two states that I probably love the best of any place. I think the people are the most genuine folks. I also love, obviously, North Dakota. I kind of like to throw the Dakotas into a lump,
Yeah, well, when we had them together as a rep, that was great. That's...
Yeah. And, but at the end of the day, it's hard to find more genuine, solid individuals than we have in Wyoming and the Dakotas. And so, I just looked at it like an opportunity to really be at the forefront of the new improved NRA, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think they're calling it NRA 2.0.
Yeah, whatever. Exactly. And what it's really done is it's really woken up people all across the country to the fact that the middle of the country is really where the bread and butter is. I think people are starting to realize that, when COVID happened, it made a lot of changes in all of us and all of our ways of thinking. And I love the take, that South Dakota and Kristi Noem took with COVID and, just deciding we're not going there, folks, and at the end of the day, we have to protect our way of life. And I couldn't think of any better way to do it than to be involved, boots on the ground with the people that I love all across Wyoming and South Dakota. And, you know, that's where I'm at. And I think I wanted to touch on something too, that, you know, these dang cell phones and all the things, and we talk about it all the time, but, you know, you as a field rep, a past field rep, we've really seen a decline in volunteerism. And, you know, one of the things that, you know, is critical to the continuation of our way of life is to share the idea of doing something for someone else, volunteering, being involved in your community and your local charity groups, you know, whether it's pro-life stuff or political stuff or whatever it is. People really need to realize that, you know, right now getting involved, boots on the ground in this stuff is the only way you're going to keep these changes from happening and from things evolving and doing, you know, having things be different than what you love. Because if you stand by with an apathetic state of mind and just say, well, it'll never happen to me, it'll never happen in my hometown.
It can.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, because, you know, people are moving into these areas. People love our way of life, but they also bring a lot of ideas and a lot of change with them. And so it's an important thing. You know, I'd love to hear what Eric has to say. I see he says, yeah, I will keep my mouth shut, but I'm all about full disclosure, Eric, and anybody else on this podcast that's listening or that wants to know more about what the NRA is about nowadays. And, you know, realistically, if you want change, you have to be a part of it. That's how it goes.
Absolutely. And I can tell you right now, NRA, and me and Jamie have always talked about this, they are a civil rights group. They truly are. That's what they're doing. And they're protecting your civil rights, in particular the Second Amendment. If it wasn't for the NRA, don't get me wrong, there was things I disagreed with when I was there. And I'm not going to ask you to say it because I understand the position you're in, and I couldn't say it then either. But in any group you join, you're never going to be 100% on board with everything they do. I don't care what group it is. And like you said, even in your church, right? I've seen the things that have happened in churches. But if it was not for the National Rifle Association, nobody has the clout that the NRA does in Washington, D.C. It's just that it's a plain and simple fact. They are the 10,000-pound gorilla in the room.
Yep.
And I know at the state side, it wasn't a whole lot different. I probably did a lot more for ILA than most reps did because I really loved it. So and I was happy to help them out. So I made a lot of trips, especially in the pier. And let's just face it, when the votes were coming up, and we had somebody that, let's just say, NRA had supported quite a lot, I was sent to remind them of that if they were on the fence. It was a little bit different back then. I don't think they even use you guys for that anymore.
You know, they don't officially, but, you know, the reality of the NRA field rep position, and I like what you probably know Brian Hoover.
Oh, yeah, no, Brian.
But Brian, you know, Brian said, you know, you're very well could be the only NRA direct employee that most of the people in your states ever meet. And so, you know, that being said, I mean, as a 501c3, the Friends program individually is bound by an apolitical thing, just like all other 501c3 nonprofits are. We can't officially take a stand, but the NRA has been very vocal about saying, you know, what you do on your own time and with your own resources is totally up to you. And so I wear all my opinions on my sleeve, so to speak. You know, I think when you look at the NRA, there's really no doubt which way we lean, you know.
Well, absolutely. And that's done by ILA takes care of that. People don't understand. There's NRA, and there's NRA ILA, there's NRA PVF, there's NRA Foundation, you got the Whittington Center. I mean, there are a lot of arms that come out from underneath that umbrella. But nobody puts them, they don't separate them. I used to, you know, people used to confuse that all the time when I was out there. I'm like, listen, that's NRA ILA, has nothing to do with the foundation. but I could answer the questions because I lived and breathed it. I really did. I mean, a little different background than you had. I mean, I was an NRA member right out of high school, life member. I worked my way up to. I was a volunteer, ran banquets for a long time. Then I don't know. It was a calling. I never joined the military, so working for the NRA I thought was the next best line of defense. Right, protect that freedom and really be in that fight, because people didn't understand what the NRA really did. And that was one reason I wanted to have you back on here to introduce everybody to the new rep, the new face of the NRA, at least in the Dakota and in South Dakota and Wyoming, and give the opportunity. I mean, I think you have a lot of the same ideology I do. So,
oh yeah, for sure.
So my friends in South Dakota, trust me, you need to talk to this guy if you want to get back involved, because I think you're going to enjoy it. He's probably better at it than I am, because he's nicer than me, I think. But
I was just about to hit Clay up and see if I could get a charter going in Lemmon. I think it'd be really good to get a charter going up in Mobridge or Lemmon. Or
I figured that was coming. I don't know how it'll be in Lemmon again. You and I will talk. I can tell you that the previous guy that was here, he kind of destroyed the whole thing there, unfortunately. But I'm not saying I couldn't rebuild it. I did it once. I could probably do it again.
Oh yeah, we could do it. I guarantee you we could. There's, that's the thing about it is people get tired, people get opinionated. They have their own little reasons for doing this. And one thing that I know full well is, I'm into this not for the money, not for the personal gain of any kind. I love people, and I love the idea of sharing and doing things that are rewarding. And there's nothing better than, sharing the idea of, safe firearm handling, training, what it means to be a single female and be able to carry a gun and be proficient with it and use it for self-defense. And, that's one of the things I think the new NRA in a lot of ways is starting to realize their constituency base is changing. The country's changing. The good old boy mentality doesn't work anymore. People, some of the biggest, fastest growing demographics of gun owners are people that are, single mothers and, people like that. And so,
women as a whole,
to a lot of different people that we never have before or never worried about reaching out to. And that's
yes, that was my biggest complaint even when I was there, is that I said, guys, you know why the average age of an NRA member is old? Because you never pursue anybody else. And that was the truth. And you had, when I don't know, I think it's still growing just about as fast, but the biggest segment of shooters was female shooters when I was there. Mm-hmm. So we started tailoring things in our events, the Guns N' Roses raffle, or, you name it, we came up just something just for the ladies in there, or raffles specifically targeting them. And they loved it. And it made them get involved, because, again, they are one of the biggest segment of shooters that's growing today. It really is. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's changed much, honestly.
Well, and over 50% of our marriages end in divorce. So,
isn't that sad?
You just do the statistics, and half of the people raising our kids nowadays are single females. So,
yeah. God blessed me with a wonderful wife, 27 years of marriage, and we dated for 4 years. So yeah, we've been together a while, and I don't see that changing. So I was very blessed, but it takes work.
I want to answer David's question. David said, do you think our ND rep will attend the NRA Long Range Full Bore National at BM? What's BMRPA?
It's the Bismarck Mandan Rifle and Pistol Association. It's located in Moffett, which isn't really that far from Bismarck. Another great facility, but it's been there a while, and I know they're trying to do some upgrades and kind of bring it back to its glory. So,
when is that, David?
Well, yeah, I'm not even sure. David, what's the date on that? I know that Eric Linder is the NRA rep as far as the field rep, but he lives way out in Minnesota. I'm talking way out there. So he's somewhere. I think he's on the other side of the Twin Cities in north.
I might have to attend in Eric's stead. I know Eric a little bit, and I'll see him at the winter meeting, and I'll definitely put that on his radar. And Bismarck's not far across the border, and I'm sure it would be
find out the date. David, give us the date. Who knows? Maybe me and Nate will ride up there.
That'd be fun.
That would be, wouldn't it? I can tell you this, David, that Ren, he reached out to me about something that they're doing. I'll talk to you a little bit later about it, but I'm planning to have him on the show if he'll come on. And then I want to mention it on our KFYR show every Friday that we're on there. So with Mitchell in the mornings, we'll get the word out. It's an event that's coming up too. So see, it's a small circle, Nate. I can tell you that when you start doing these things. Here, he just sent it. Last weekend of May 2026.
Oh, perfect.
So you should be able to plan that one out.
Yeah, one of the hard things for the field rep, as you know, is that's right in the heat of the battle for banquet season. But we'll definitely look at some dates and see if we can pull that off. I'd love to attend that. It'd be great. We have a night before shoot in Glendive, Wyoming, here.
Yep.
So near Douglas.
So guys, that would be the weekend. The last weekend would be Friday, May 29th to the 31st. That would be the last weekend in May of 2026. So there you go. You got the date. Look at that. We got a head start on it there for you, Dave. So, here, I like what Brian said here. He's right. He said, we have to be the biggest threat because we are the only ones ever called out by name by politicians. It is. NRA speaks, and I can tell you it matters. Now, there are other groups. There's Gun Owners of America, Second Amendment Foundation, and you got to remember, them guys do a lot of legal work. They don't do so much policy and legislation. They primarily focus. I mean, they're the ones always suing everybody, and I'm glad they do. NRA is usually part of that as well. NRA is the legislative king as far as putting forth bills and getting them passed. They're the most successful at it. They're the best in their game. Yes, there's been issues, but don't believe the media. I've been there. I worked there, and you have too now, Nate. You can see how they work and the way they do it.
Well, and all you have to do, I mean, I'm going to make a very political statement here, but if you look at the downfall of the NRA, so to speak, yeah, there were some inner struggles, but it was really, it was a function of Letitia James and her, threat to Trump. And, you look at what she did to Trump, 34 felonies and all that stuff, those got reversed. I'm not saying that everything was perfect with the NRA. There were some doors left open, but at the end of the day, a lot of it was just, basic political skullduggery that caused the heart of that battle. But
it did. And you're going to have those things, especially in an organization that's that large. We saw this in the 90s with Marion Hammer. I don't know if anyone remembers that. And it almost fractured the NRA in half. Okay.
Yep.
We recovered. We come back. Charlton Heston took the reins, and I think he was a big part of that. Big celebrity and big promoter and a big name, right? Mm-hmm. And he really was able to bring back the sides in the NRA and pull them together. But let's remember something else that went on in the 90s: the assault weapons ban. If it wouldn't have been for the NRA that was fighting a Democrat-controlled House, a Democrat-controlled Senate. Remember, we hadn't won the House back yet, and a Democrat presidency. The assault weapons ban would have never sunsetted. It would still be in force today.
Yep.
The NRA did their best, and I know that they caught so much grief. Oh, they supported this. They didn't really support it. They litigated it, and basically they knew they were going to lose that battle. I knew they were going to lose that battle. They didn't have
you
the
have
vote.
to choose. You're hitting on a good point. You have to choose your battles. That's the thing.
And they did, and they were able to litigate it so that they threw out a bunch of the guns that were on that list, because even your semi-automatic Remington 7,400 rifles would have been included on that list. Remember that. They were able to litigate it down to a small amount of guns with a 10-year sunset, and then they let I guess you could say, for lack of a better term, they let those reps and senators vote for that and pass it, knowing that in 10 years it's going away. And it did.
Yep.
But you know what? They had no chance. If they wouldn't have done that, the original bill would have stood, and it'd still be the law of the land today. I have no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I know we got a guy on the radio, but he's ain't on there so much anymore, old gumshoe Cody, who hates the NRA because of that. They let the 1968 gun control. You know what, Cody? You don't know what you speak of, and I know he listens to this once in a while. Don't care. But
and I always ask
the NRA.
What I like to ask guys like that too is what's your alternative? What's your solution? You know,
They
you
don't
can
have
say
one.
you can say all you want to say, but come up with a solution. Let's bring some solutions to the table. If you want to,
Absolutely.
if you want to throw darts, at the end of the day, it's all about getting something done and figuring out. That's politics 101, and it's never pretty. But I think we've learned that lesson. People have. I mean, look at the ATF and we're in a position right now where the National Firearms Act is basically, it's defunct.
And we've hit on that a lot on this show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think people understood that when we got it zeroed out, when the tax becomes zero, it's no longer a tax. Therefore, you can't have a requirement if there's no fee for it. We went into the detail. I'm not going to cover it again tonight. I'm telling you, this is the pathway, and I'm sure you guys are going to talk about this at the winter meetings. It's the pathway to eliminate the NFA, and not through the long legislative process, because you can't have a tax if it don't have a value. And there's a whole different part of the U.S. code for taxes, I think under Title 18. So, get ready, guys, because I think it's going to be interesting. I do know this. After that zeroed out, I'm planning to get us another suppressor. I've just been waiting for that. So, actually, I'm going to get a couple of them. So, hey, Eric did respond. He goes, "Hey, we was talking about when he said keep his mouth shut about teasing about the 6.5 Creedmoor." He says, "That's what I said." I was going to say, I don't think Eric. I know Eric too good. I knew he wasn't against us. So, and David said May 28th through the 30th is the date. We'll shoot to 800, 900, and 1,000 yards at one of the wickedest ranges on the planet. And he's right. The wind out there, you'll see if you're able to make it. Like I said, I'm going to have to try and make that with you guys. Brian says, Teddy Roosevelt said that complaining without a solution is called whining. I like that. That sounds like a
That's
t-shirt.
great.
We have to have a new t-shirt.
That's spot on, too.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's take one last break. Before we go here, and then we'll come back with some closing thoughts. And I do have a happy ending chronicle. I think you'll like it. We always highlight the self-defense act with a firearm usually on the show. So if you want to hold on here, if you got time, don't you, to finish it out?
Yeah.
Cleared your schedule just for this?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. We will be right back with our last ad for the night, and then we'll kind of give some closing thoughts and have our happy ending chronicle.
Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
Give them a call at 701-258-6308.
The team of mechanics at Lauer Auto can take care of any problem your vehicle is having. And when you do business with Lauer, you can be assured you're doing business with a pro Second Amendment America First repair shop. There are plenty of other auto repair shops in the Bismarck-Mandan area. But why take a chance at patronizing a shop that might not have your beliefs at heart? Make no mistake. Lauer Auto is your pro Second Amendment repair shop. When you talk to the guys at Lauer Auto, don't forget to tell them that you heard they are a sponsor of Guns and the 701 and that you appreciate their support of our pro Second Amendment, pro North Dakota live stream and podcast. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 701-258-6308.
701-258-6308.
Located 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota.
When you want it done right,
Go where lemons go.
Kalon's Auto Service, owned and operated by Kalon and Misty Foss, lifelong locals with over 25 years experience. From modern rides to classic restorations, they can handle it all. Top quality work, fair price, and honest hometown values. Located just one block south of Highway 12 on 6th Avenue West in Lemmon. Kalon's Auto Service, serving you with all your auto repair needs.
All right, we are back again. Nate Brown, NRA Field Rep for Wyoming and South Dakota, is my guest tonight. We've covered all kinds of topics tonight. So, quick reminder, everybody, Jamie will be on again next week. So it'll be November 26th. He's got a great show lined up for you. Got a great guest, too, so I'll tune in for that. Of course, same place, same time, all across our Guns and 701 network platforms. Don't want to miss Francis. Leon Francis is going to be coming up on Friday night, 5 o'clock Mountain Time with Blackbeard Logic, 6 p.m. Central. And I'll be on bright and early Friday morning. I'm still going to try to. I was going to have one of the guys maybe sub, but I will be in Fargo for the state NDFB convention. Now, I got to check for sure, guys. I don't know, but I'm planning to be on with Todd Mitchell on Mitchell in the morning at 7:15 Mountains, 8:15 Central. But I got to see there's another meeting I might possibly have to attend while I'm out there, and I don't know if it sounds like it's going to be an early morning. So I don't know. I might have to have someone sub for me, but we will definitely have Guns in the 701 on Friday morning. And then Sunday, don't want to miss. Vance is doing a great job with this. He's got the Sunday Sportsman devotion. I mean, and he does a great job. His knowledge in scripture is fantastic. And he's a guy that he hunts, he shoots. He used to live up here. He's back down in Alabama now. But he's lived the life that he talks about. And he did hit rock bottom, and he was able to be saved and come back. And I do encourage you guys, just tune in there, because every Sunday morning at 7 o'clock Mountain, 8 o'clock Central, he just does a great job. So go ahead and tune into that as well. Of course, here every Wednesday night. So that's what we got going on right now. 701 Nation, Guns of the 701, Sunday Sportsman's Devotion, and Blackbeard Logic. So we're kind of busy out this, Nate. And this was never on my bucket list when I retired.
This is great. I love your podcast. It's great.
I mean, we have a lot of fun here. We try to cover a lot of different subjects. And yeah, check out the channels, like them, subscribe, break them algorithms. We're not making no money on them because, like I said, they have come up with every reason not to pay us. So we got great sponsors. We don't need their money. Plain and simple. Why share it with them anyway? So, and the launch of the new website's coming. I know we've been saying that for a month. We're going to probably launch it. I'm just going to say it's going to be the first of the year. I thought it'd be a great time to launch a new one. I've been in touch with her. And you guys all know the story with my son and the medical problems we've been having. So that consumed me for the last 2 months. We seem to have turned the corner. So things are looking up, and we've been getting a little work done on that. Jamie says, North Dakota Farm Bureau, tell Daryl I said Ultra Mega. Everybody, I'll have to tell you that story later. But all right. So closing shots. NRA Foundation, Friends of NRA. Where do they? I've had it up here, but how do they get a hold of you if they want to get involved? How do they do that?
Well, I'll give you my phone number, 307-823-3948. That's my official NRA cell phone number. I'm very reachable, very responsive. Just to be fully out there. Anybody across South Dakota, small towns, never underestimate the value of a small town community. I would love to put a banquet or a fundraiser of sorts anywhere, anytime. You guys let me know what you're interested in doing. NRA game nights, Wall of Guns games. Clayton knows all the opportunities that are available. We can do some really cool stuff that put money on the ground for shooting sports. I've literally taken this job, and I'm tireless in my pursuit to grow this organization. I'd love to kind of catch Clayton's numbers that he had at one point in time. I think it's, there's absolutely no reason why, South Dakota and Wyoming should both be $1 million states. We love the Second Amendment. There's a lot of money here. People are moving in. I have no shame. I have no shame to reach out to people. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I'm willing to work for you folks all across South Dakota and small towns and big towns everywhere. Small town, is where I grew up. That's, Wyoming, South Dakota, North Dakota. I've never really lived any place but a small town, and I see the strength in the small groups of numbers. I wanted to kind of showcase somebody that he's a pretty good field rep. His name's Jason Russo. Do you know Jason? Have you ever heard of Jason?
I know the name. He wasn't there when I was there, but
he's in California.
Yep.
And you talk about the politics and all the things we have in our favor.
He's in the heart. He's in the belly of the beast.
He did, yeah, and he had a banquet in southern California, in Compton. If any of you guys
Oh, really? Wow.
listen to rap music, but he had a banquet with a net of over $80,000 in Compton, California, with 80 people in the room. So Clay can vouch for, that's about $1,000 average net money on everybody that was there that night. So, the Second Amendment, and, we're coming on the 250th anniversary of our country. This is the greatest place on earth. I'm just happy to be working for South Dakota and Wyoming doing this and doing what I love. And, I've put about 30,000 miles on my pickup since April 1st. So I'm not afraid to drive, and I'll sleep. I've slept in hunting camps and on cots and stuff all across the country. So, I'm not opposed to camping out if I have to or whatever to make this happen. But we've got a banquet coming up on December 12th or 13th in Yankton. If any of you are anywhere near Yankton, I know Mitchell's had a banquet in recent years. If any of you have contacts in Mitchell, let them know about me. Nate Brown, or NBROWN at NRA HQ. That's my email. And then again, 307-823-3948. If you can't find my phone number, or if you don't see it, there's also South Dakota State Friends of NRA. I manage that Facebook page. So South Dakota State Friends of NRA. Growing a lot of Facebook followers as well. And, I'm not a pride person or a proud person. I just want to meet people where they live,
And you can go right here too to find Nate and any of the other field reps. It's friendsofnra.org. /events and then /field representatives. It's pretty easy to find on there when you get onto that website. If you want to find them, just go to the events, and then they've got field representative tab right there. And then you can follow the links. It's pretty easy to find that. It hasn't changed much. I think that's how it was when I was there. They were they were just developing that site when I was there. We didn't have one, and then they developed one. So it's still a great program. I know there was, we're not going to go into all that, but I can tell you that I still love the NRA. I retired. I really felt we would make $1 million if I'd have stayed that extra year or two, because that's the road we were on. Yeah. We were up there around 750,000. So that's a lot of money, and it's doable. I've always felt that back then it was North and South Dakota, but I have no doubt it can be done, especially now. Everything costs more, so it'll put up the money anyway, right? Yeah. But yeah, it's a fantastic program, and we used a lot of money in these two states to do so much. We were funding YHEX, we were funding 4-H shooting programs, ranges, buying NDSU. They started a rifle competition. They had a rifle club, I guess you'd call it, but it was part of the actual NDSU program, and we're competing, and we bought rifles for them. So we were doing so many things, and it's unfortunate that after I left, it all went away so fast.
Thank you, JD. I see your comment there.
Oh, yeah, let's put it up here. Good to hear Nate on the stream. Seems like a great guy to have on our side and to be repping the NRA. JD, by the way, I met him, and he was one of my NRA volunteers in Bismarck, North Dakota. So I have, and Mitchell, Mike Deakins, who also has been part of this, he's kind of doing the background stuff now. He's one that helps make these ads we do, puts the voices to them. He's in radio out there. I'll reach out to him. I can tell you he got pretty involved with the Masonic Lodge after that. And I don't know. Well, I can definitely visit with him, though, because Mike's a solid guy. And, you can't find a better guy. He's nice. He's knowledgeable. And I was actually hoping he would have become the next rep when I retired. That was the guy I was kind of training. Yeah. So I think he'd have made a good one. But
yeah, I'd love to make his acquaintance and figure out what we can do in Mitchell and put him back in the fold, man.
Absolutely. We you and I'll talk sometime. We were having some issues. I said, like, when we talked to North Dakota on gaming. So we were actually talking to the tribes, being they're independent from the state in that. And we never got it off the ground, but we were working on doing 2 events within the tribes system at their casinos. I think that would have went real well. So yeah, just something I got a lot of ideas you can try out.
Yeah, for sure. So, yeah, there's really no reason to have for us not to be running a perpetual gun raffle all the time in South Dakota and Wyoming both. I see David asked if I've actually shot the night for a shoot. I have not. I have not done that yet, and I do a lot of shooting, but mostly just in the hunting world, and I love to shoot just recreationally. But I have just recently kind of got started shooting some long range stuff. I had the opportunity to go to a long range university hosted by Gunworks. I didn't have to pay to go to that thing, but they're pretty proud of their equipment. But they have some nice equipment. They do some good things, and yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing to me, the technology. And we had a guy, a little team in Wyoming, and I haven't met them yet, but they're in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is the heart of liberalism. But but Jackson Hole, they shot 4.4 miles recently. So
I know, isn't that something? Wow,
that's almost impossible for me to wrap my head around. But
at that point, you are doing the math because you're figuring in the curvature of the Earth and its rotation.
Oh yeah.
So it just to give you an idea. One of the
funniest things about that, there's an article about it. If you just look at longest long range shot or whatever, there's pretty good articles out there about it. But they realized that they had to tilt their target.
Yeah.
Because the surface area of the target was so small, and the bullets coming in at such a steep trajectory.
Isn't that something?
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. But yeah, I love all the disciplines. It's one of the things I love about the job that I have. I'm hoping to kind of get my charters and my committees put together, and then settle in and just become a better shooter and try out more things that I haven't done.
Absolutely. So, all right, guys. Well, I tell you what, we're not going to do the happy ending. I'll just save that for Friday, because then we can put it on KFYR 550 AM. And Nate, I appreciate you coming on. This has been a very good. You'll come back, won't you?
Absolutely.
I mean, kind of thinking what we should do is maybe have, if nothing else, give you a segment where you can do a monthly update.
That'd be great.
Keep people informed as to what's going on, the events. And maybe helping out, can't get them chartered. Maybe we'll have a running charter count. We can get that baby pumped up. We got to do 25 now, right? Still,
I think they've got me to be fully chartered. The NRA jargon. Last I heard, it was like 17 or 18 is what they're asking me to do. But
okay, well, that's a lot more reasonable. I know when I was there, they were really pushing it. Everybody had 25, and like we kept saying, hey, let's have quality events rather than all these, ones just to make a charter, and what that's about. So, and
I think they're starting to realize that just a sheer numbers game. When you look at Illinois and places like that, I mean, we have about 600,000 in the entire state of Wyoming.
Right? So, yeah, it's a little bit sparse out there, isn't it?
Yep.
All right. Well, everybody, again, appreciate you tuning in. Again, don't forget, we got Blackbeard Logic Friday night. We got Vance coming up on Sunday with Sunday Sportsman's Devotion, and 701 Nation with Jamie next Wednesday. And then I'll be following up the following Wednesday. Nate, again, thank you very much. And I will get this. We're going to have him on a lot more, give you some updates. Get out there and join the Friends of NRA. Volunteer. Go to the website, friendsofnra.org. Let's help him make these charters. Guys, keep your powder dry, and we'll see everybody here in 2 weeks for me.